everyone. David Ruffner here. I just want to say, first of all, I really enjoyed those readings on Chapter 8 and Chapter 9 on the holistic considerations and the counseling relationship. It was great just seeing Dr. Takix and Counselor Powell in action with their clients. I feel like I'm a little closer of, being ready just to sit in the counselor's chair after watching those videos. They really follow my expectations. At the beginning of the 2020 coronavirus pandemic, I had the opportunity of seeing a Permanente therapist. And I noticed that this therapist followed the Egan model that we learned about in Chapter 9. Also, Dr. Takix and Counselor Powell follow this model as well. If you notice at the beginning of Dr. Takic's video, he uses step one of the Egan model. He uses the question of what's going on. He asked his client, last session, we talked about you seeing a guy that you were somewhat interested in, but you guys didn't have the same interest. Can you tell me what's going on about that? So he starts with that opening question. Also, I noticed both therapists proceed to find out what their clients need by using empathy and asking questions. And finding out what the client needs is step two in the Egan model. For example, Counselor Powell says, I noticed that you're feeling like you need a sense of balance in your life. And I like how he directly doesn't say you need balance. He says, I feel like you need balance. And he frames that in a very empathetic way. I also know both counselors are implementing respect and are implementing empathy by using solar. They're both of them are sitting squarely. They have an open posture. They're leaning forward. They're using eye contact and just using relaxed body language, using the light nod of the head. Also, the third step in the Egan model is that the counselor they find ways of how their client, or the counselor and the client find ways of how the client can get what they need. But when I look at both counselors, I would really prefer Dr. Takix over Dr. Takix over Counselor Pell, because I noticed Dr. Takix tells his client, okay, this is what we're going to do in between our session and our next session. He tells his client, why don't you try doing something you like, or two things that you like with somebody, with a friend. Whereas Counselor Powell just tells his client, we're going to look at ways to find more balance in our next session. So if I was Counselor Powell's client, I would just feel a little confused about what to do in between sessions, where I really liked how Dr. Takix gave his client homework or things that she could do before next session. And that's a good follow through that Dr. Takix could use in the next section with the what's going on. So last time we talked about you doing two things that you like with people. And that could be a good follow-up for the next session. One question I do have that my therapist for Kaiser Permanente implemented with me was mindfulness meditation in session and out of session, because I noticed that helped me with a lot of my distorted thoughts. And I noticed both Dr. Egan and Counselor Powell's clients had those distorted thoughts. If you notice, Dr. Takic's client was dealing with distorted thoughts of people not liking her because they don't want to do the things that she wants to do. And I'm reading a book called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he says that meditation helps dispense slowly these distortive thoughts, or helps bring clarity and coherence to your distorted thoughts. And I experienced it myself over time, and I'm just wondering if that mindfulness meditation implemented in session would help either client. So I want to know what your thoughts on that are, of just having that implementation of meditation in session. I really enjoyed those readings, and watching both Dr. Takix and Counselor Powell. It was great, and just how they use that Egan model. I think when I start my own practice here at District Piedmont Palms, I want to use that Egan model. But just let me know what you think about using the meditation in and out of session. Love every one of you, sending love and blessings. Bye.